Welcome, Wolfpack. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining me today, the 29th of May 2025. Yes, indeed, here we are. So it's been a bit of a mad rush. I just had to completely redo my camera, which is always a winner. So, and I've still got my tea bags that haven't even been pulled out of my tea yet, but we're going to be checking out what's going on in the world today, including the big news story. Of course, the US market's up in early trading after court blocks Trump tariffs. That's right, completely been overturned by the courts. I did kind of warn about this, saying it wasn't actually officially legal and it was totally against World Trade Organization rules and everything, as so many countries around the world called out at the time. So it was just a matter of time to see what was going to happen. And indeed, here we are today. And it's been completely deemed to be the president essentially doesn't... The TLDR of it all is that President Trump never had the authority to place sweeping tariffs on every country around the world in the first place. I guess partly to stop exactly things like that happening and the entire stock market being wiped out by $1 trillion overnight and things like that, and then up down like we've been since. So we've got a vote going live, a live poll rocking, so you should see it if you're live with me now. You should see it in the chat. Thank you to those that are with us live in the chat right now. Few people have voted already, but it looks like this. I posted it on the community Discord server for Sigma Prepper. Links in the description of this video. I just posted it here on the main hangout. Trump tariffs overturned. How do you feel? So let us know how you feel about it. Either bad news, super disappointed, or good news, super pleased. It's pretty straightforward, right? There is no indifferent. I guess indifferent is just you not polling, taking part, right? But let us know your thoughts. That's the vote in the live poll. So let us know. Of course, one of the benefits of being on the Discord servers, you'll get the announcements. I have so many people telling me that YouTube's not sending notifications out for this channel ever. So it doesn't surprise me. Lots of people saying they've been unsubscribed as well. So I really apologize on behalf of YouTube for everybody who's had their likes removed, their subscriptions removed, and despite having the bell notification set to all, never get notifications. So on behalf of YouTube, I apologize to each and every one of you. Best way around it though, I'm all about solutions, is taking advantage of the Discord server, because you'll always get announcements from there. And the only time I do a public announcement is when I've got a live show just about to release. Yeah. So do get yourself over on there. Thank you to those that have voted already in the poll. I don't know if I want to call it close or not. There's been 8 votes so far, so it's not a good enough cross section. So we're going to wait until it tops up a little bit more. Seeing Outlaws UK there. Good to see you, my man. Daily Survival, moderator of all moderators. Switch from top messages to live chat. Thank you. I hadn't done that, so I will now. Right. Saves YouTube stripping out some of the comments that it thinks that you might not want to read, but everybody's important to me. Curse 10 was sort of first in the chat tonight, this afternoon. How can it be that President of the United States can't make these decisions? It's overruled. That's a big one to unpack, that is. Checks and balances. Yeah. There has to be a limit. Otherwise, you end up with a tyranny, right? You end up with authoritarianism. You end up with a dictatorship, which is kind of most of the people that are chilling out with the Wolfpack are not really that into the whole dictatorship idea, particularly if you're a Sigma type personality where you want to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. You don't want to be told how to live your life, and do you know what I mean? So it's a tricky one. Because letting a single individual do whatever they want, right, is not a good look, because you're setting it up for someone even more tyrannical, even more loopy, to come in after that president and pick up after where they left off with all these new tools they get at their disposal. Let me know your thoughts. Random Warrior, good to see you. Let's just scroll down. Sorry. And we'll have a proper look through and I'll read you out what's going on. Amphir. It's getting more like Onion News every day. This is the problem. Robert Mann, good to see you. Third option, unsure about tariffs. If you're unsure about tariffs, then you basically means that you haven't seen my video that I spent way too long putting together for people. And it's basically, the clue is in the title, but it's not your fault. It is the fact that YouTube has hidden this video particularly from everyone it could possibly hide it from, which is quite annoying because I spent weeks and weeks developing the trade war prepping guide. Yeah, I spent ages on it, and YouTube buried it. But this video here, Trade Wars 101, who pays the tariffs, this basically goes right through exactly who pays the tariffs and what tariffs are all about and what it really means. And you can see, look, two of me, like one of me isn't bad enough, right? But you can see I essentially go through the whole animation I did for you to say where the money goes to where, what happens when and where and all that, right? So you got to check it out. Trade Wars 101, and it will lay it right out for you as to what Guam. And it's an important one. And like I say, 85-page trade war prepping guide I produced for that. It's completely free, 45 megabyte download. It will be in the description of that video as well. Just hit the like button. Thank you so very much. Very thoughtful of you, Random Warrior. Will Medic, he isn't paying his bill in June. Is he currently? We're talking about the debt bill due, are we? Give peace a chance. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you voted and had your voice heard. There's 10 votes so far, and we've got more than that live, so let's see what we can do to hook it up. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is get straight into the headline, and we'll see what's going on the mainstream here, BBC World News. We're on the world section. So Gaza warehouse broken into by hoarders of hungry people, says a WFP. But this is the main story. Shock court ruling on Trump tariffs throws businesses and trade partners into uncertainty. Do you know what? Uncertainty's been the thing, right, that's been driving this market up and down, all over the place. People just don't know what to do. It's the complete opposite from what a growing economy needs, which is stability and predictability. And since this whole thing's been going on, it's been 145% tariffs, then it's 50%, then it's 30%, then it's 10% on this, but it's 190% if it's shoes. No business knows whether they should be ordering their seasonal goods right now or not. And most of them have chosen not. Yeah. Case in point, if I look now at the port in LA, right, we can look at it live. Please share this video on your social media. It looks like YouTube's doing everything it can to hide it from everyone, like it's been doing to the last maybe 10 videos, more than it normally does. So really appreciate your help trying to stop this channel going bankrupt after YouTube's tried everything in its power to destroy this channel, and it's becoming quite annoying. But you can see here, May 25th, you see change from the previous week is down 32% from containers. Change from the previous year is down 25%. And it's continuing 3%, 10% down from last year. So these are, this is representing businesses who just don't know what to do about their goods, because if they order them from China and if they arrive on the shore, the minute they arrive in that LA port, the business in America is going to get a Trump tax bill for the tariff, which is basically a tax, yeah, saying you're going to have to pay us some money. And until you pay the government the money, the tax, on the spot, you don't get your container of goods out of the port. So these businesses are fearful to place their order because they're like, with Trump going up and down, left and right, you never know which day, how much the tariffs are going to be. You know, businesses are trying to speculate to say, well, if we leave it for 90 days, if there's a suspension for 90 days was the next thing he did. And then it's businesses like, well, maybe we'll wait 90 days then. It's going to be tricky to get the shipping here in time for Christmas, to get everything done and unpacked and boxed up and everything else and produced. But let's assume we wait 90 days. Maybe those tariffs will come off and then we'll place our order and then we'll get our container and it will cost us $100,000 less in tax by waiting 90 days. And so businesses, very difficult for them to make a decision as to whether to bring their goods in or not. And when the tariffs are then reduced, it becomes like a Dutch auction. Because if you keep reducing the tariffs, like has been happening bit by bit, all the while nobody's been coming to negotiate, it's having to sort of, Trump's been the one to have to negotiate by reducing the tariffs. And then placing tariffs on specific companies, which has never been heard of in the global history of tariffs in the world. has any president in any country of the 192 countries, just so you know, there's never been such a thing where a country's put a tariff on an actual business. And yet that's exactly what Trump's been threatening with the Mattel, with the Ford, with if they don't manufacture in America, and with Apple threatening 50% tariffs, is it, or 100% tariffs on Apple and Samsung if they don't manufacture in America. So all of these things really are what create that instability in the market, because you don't know if you should buy shares in Apple or not, because Apple won't be able to survive if they have to make their stuff in America. And equally, if Americans having to pay 100% more for an iPhone than they have to, just 100% tax on top, 108% if you include the sales tax as well as the tariff tax, again, Apple's not going to survive, because no one's going to be affording to pay that kind of money, $3,600 or $4,800 or whatever the latest quote is for how much it will cost an iPhone if it's produced in America. Equally, that's enough to destroy Apple as well, which in turn means that the stock market ends up being all over the place. They don't know what's going on. There's been some good news out today from Nvidia, but none of this is making any sense. It was like this morning a sea of red yesterday, and then now it's green. The day before it was green. The day before that it was a complete sea of red, with Trump doing the 50% tariffs on Europe. Yeah. And so this is what causes this fluctuation so badly. You've got Tesla here that's allegedly 2.3%, even though only 2 days ago they came out having to admit that their sales in Europe are down 50%. When a business comes out and declares that they're in one of their biggest markets is reduced, bear in mind the European market is double the size of the USA market, right? There's twice as many people for a start. So the European market being down 50% sales, and yet the stock is going up. Do you see? It's completely and utterly unhinged from reality anyway at this point. Yeah. But you've only got to look at the usual indicators, as I've highlighted before on this channel many times. And here it's the same situation. Look, your currencies against the US dollar. The value of the dollar is falling every day this is going on. Now up to nearly €1.14 for a dollar now. Yeah, we were at $1.35 for a pound this morning. And it's still up above. This was like 120 something. Yeah, now Americans need to have $1.34 to buy a pound. And it's not because the pound's going up in value, it's just the dollar's going down in value, which is why everything against the dollar in these first most significant currencies against the dollar, they're up. Meaning the dollar's down against them all. So it's not an individual country's doing better than America, it's just America's doing worse than all of the other countries when it comes to currency value, right? And this is also shared. This is shared with the 10-year Treasury bond. When you look at the 10-year Treasury bond and you look at it over the last month, for example, it's just been going up. When the Treasury bonds are going up, it means that you're having to convince people to buy your debt with higher interest rate return because no one wants to buy it. Because they don't trust America anymore. Look, you had Moody's to downgrade the credit rating from AAA to AA minus. Yeah, it's been a cascade of bad economic news. Not to mention, on top of that, these trade wars, which I still haven't quite worked out what they were designed to do. 1 minute it's to bring manufacturing to America, but yet there's no investment being offered for people willing to do that. There's no tax incentives for people willing to do that. There's just a stick being hit at every other country around the world unless they do. Right? And then when you put tariffs on China to that level, then no one can build a factory in America because of all the stuff you need to buy all the machines from China, and you're going to be paying 150% more than anyone else for them same machines. So none of it's really made any sense, and it hasn't done well for the dollar on the world stage. It hasn't done well for stifling China or anything. It's just, it's really Give peace a chance voted. I hope everyone else has as well. I believe it's going to be war or default, hence we're very close, which is popping first to make sure. Yeah. Now, you see, usually a war is used to cover up a collapse. Yeah. So that you got something to blame it on. Yesterday's video, 10 out of 10. Thank you, Band, again. I spent ages on that. I'm glad you appreciated it. There's linked in the description below, actually, is a featured video. How to survive the economic collapse. Please do definitely watch it after this. And yeah, daily survival, exactly, bang on. It's caused such uncertainty. And uncertainty is not what stock markets want. It's not what businesses who want to invest in America want. Businesses want to invest in a country knowing that their money's going to be secure, reliable environment. There's going to be reliably, like politically reliable, right? Not like random rules thrown at them, random tariffs thrown at them, random taxes thrown at them out of nowhere and all this other stuff. It's just erratic. And erratic behavior when it's tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off, right? Now the problem we've got is, of course, with this new court ruling saying, you know, again, it's thrown them into uncertainty again, because now it's just because the tariffs have been removed, it's great news for the American consumer because you're not going to be paying 145% more than you need to be. Yeah. Like you were going to be and already have been. I'm not sure if they're rolling back the $800 limit on buying stuff in and you getting clobbered your 100% import duty. Before there was an $800 limit, they removed that as part of this whole attack against all the countries that were included in it. I think it was all the countries, including all the allies as well. So this is just, I don't even know where to start, right? I mean, trade expert on the tariffs ruling. So in case you don't want to read the whole 49-page document from the Court of International Trade, we asked Deborah Elms, head of trade policy at the Enrich Foundation, some questions about the ruling. Here's what she had to say. So does the ruling block Trump's 10% blanket tariffs? It wasn't 10%. We've got all sorts going on to all sorts around the world, don't forget. Yes, all tariffs imposed on 2nd of April, which was like Liberty, what was it? Liberation Day or something like that, he called it. Plus the fentanyl tariffs on China. Even to call them fentanyl tariffs is just amazing. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. Will the tariffs halt come into effect immediately? Unclear. The ruling says the White House has 10 days, but doesn't say how. With the White House saying it'll appeal, so we've got all that to go on as well. So don't forget, you've got even more uncertainty while the appeal process is going on. And now they know there is an appeal option, right? As in the wider audience, including the traders and the venture capitalists and all the people that you would need to have on your side to have a hope in hell of attracting any businesses to want to be doing trade in your building a factory in your country. Oh man, so cheers everyone. I've just got the tea bags out of my tea finally. So will there be refunds on the tariffs they've already paid? Whatever happens, I do not think any refunds will be allowed until the legal basis is sorted out. Now, part of this was triggered by the fact that there was a bunch of businesses that got together and was suing the White House, or suing Donald Trump, but suing the presidency, essentially, the administration, for lost earnings, right? In terms of all the money it's cost the business. They've gone out, there's like, I don't know, it's the highest record number of businesses in the US history that have gone bankrupt in 2024. I don't even know what 2025 is going to look like. It's like 22,000 businesses a year, right, are going bankrupt, which is a net. So once you include the businesses that are starting, there's 22,000 businesses closing in America every year, net negative, right? And so a lot of these businesses have closed recently, and they're not even included in those numbers. Most of those businesses have closed recently because they can't afford to pay the tax on the tariffs for the goods they're importing, yeah? You can't just pay $145,000, which is the average amount paid on a container's worth of goods, right? $145,000 extra in tax. No one's absorbing that. So let's see what this guy's got to say about it. Tariff ruling completely changes the global trade war. And don't forget what the objective of the trade war apparently was. Now, I personally, I don't actually agree with the narrative, the most recent narrative, of why the trade wars, why the tariffs were there in the first place, in terms of bringing manufacturing back to America. Now, the reason I say that, and it's actually included in the trade war prepping guide, which I'm just going to spark open for you now because I love you. So it looks like this. It's 85 pages big, right? But in here, I actually start it with, apart from obviously your contents and all that, right? But I start it here because this is where it really started back in like November last year, is where this whole tariff thing kicked off. And it was nothing to do with manufacturing in America. It was nothing to do with that at all. Check it out. And this is why I've got this in my book, right? Which you can just free for you to download. Yeah, go and check out the Trade Wars 101 on my channel video, and it's linked in the description of that video. I'm sure Daily Survival will be putting the link in for you. It's basically sigmaprepper.com/WTPG World Trade War TW Trade War Prepping Guide, just the letters. So this was what Donald Trump put out, right, back in November last year, 2024. The idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar. Or, here's the kicker, they will face, are you ready for it, 100% tariffs. So this is where the tariffs have come from. Nothing to do with April liberation. Nah, this is stop dealing with the BRICS nations. Yeah, don't forget 74 countries, new countries have joined BRICS just in the last 12 months. 74 new countries joining BRICS. Why do you think they all want to join? Right? And there's new members, there's like 11 now, and there was like the original BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? So this is a threat here of 100% tariffs if anyone deals with anything to do with other than the dollar. This is what it's about, yeah? And should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker. There is no chance that the BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America, right? So this is what was going on. Look at all the news stories. Trump threatens 100% tariff on BRICS countries if they abandon the dollar. Trump threatens 100% tariff on BRICS countries, right? This is where the tariffs originally came from. It's about a de-dollarization is the problem. It's nothing to do with not manufacturing, because America can just as easily, like Britain does, have a service industry and own that. Yeah? Something you can compete with and on, right? Stuff like that. And the financial industry, which is what the UK makes most of its growth. Growth meaning actual money coming in from actual outside the country is growth, right? Like China, you know, using iron ore and using their own energy that's cheap in abundance and melting it down and smelting it and then, you know, turning it into metal girders and railway lines that we then buy in the UK, right? And we give them money and we get our steel girders, right? That's actual growth. That's new money going into China that they didn't have before that they've now got. And the same with the UK. Yeah, the UK makes a lot of its money in the City of London doing all the you know, Lloyd's of London insurance, global insurance and stuff like that, like financial insurance, equity stuff, pensions. This is where UK makes most of its growth from revenue outside of its country. So there's lots of different ways to be on top of the world. There's lots of different ways to dominate, right? And manufacturing now is all going automated and AI anyway, so it doesn't really create jobs or anything, so that's not really a good incentive. So yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one to unpack because it's so wrapped up in so many other bits and pieces, which is why I refer you back to what Trump was talking about, like nearly not a year ago, but 6 months ago plus, way before the April bidney. Yeah. So yesterday's video, nothing showed up. Like I say, they're doing everything they can to hide my videos at the moment. It usually is because, you know, when you're putting out that amount of truth, that's the amount of level they go to hush it down. If you're spouting a load of nonsense that don't make any sense to anyone who's not thought through, that's how you know you're going to get boosted and you'll go viral. Right? It's like they say, you know when you're over the target because you start getting flack. Yeah? Because they're trying to protect, obviously, something down there, right? That's how World War II, they didn't even need to have radar. They just fly along and wait until they start getting shot at. It's like, oh, we must be near something important. Let's drop some bombs here. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, classic. But never mind. It's just unfortunate because it's not just me as a business who pays for this, and I'm living on $108 a month. Literally, I've got no full-time job, no other stuff earning me any money. I'm literally living on $108 a month. Yeah. And I can't keep doing it for much longer, and that's what YouTube's hoping for. So, but I refuse to just tell people what the news wants you to think. If it's not right and it's not rational, it's not thought through, and it just doesn't make any sense, and it's just not logical, and it doesn't fit with the facts and the science and physics. Pedigree Mongol, one of my moderators, good to see you, my man. Hope you're well. So anyway, that was the basis of the first introduction to the trade war prepping guide I put together, was because that was really where that was kind of where it started, and then obviously the world kept moving and kind of ignored it, right? And then April come along, and that was when the hammer come down. It was like, right, everyone's getting tariffs. And then obviously China just stayed silent, right? And then it's been a shit show since then. So anyway, this is... The book's not just that. It's also to do with, like, you know, lists of things you should buy in the event of these trade wars continuing, supply chains breaking down. Check out Curse. What an absolute superstar. Let's give you some respect. Hey, Samir, thanks for speaking out. Keep up a good. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much, Curse. Let's hear some respect with gang signs. And the letter K. Respect. Going out to Curse in the chat. Thank you so very much. Lich keeping the lights on at this point. Let me give you a love of your, and a like of your message. Thank you so very much. It's difficult. Right, so here we go. Let's see what Matey Boy has got to say about it. So, of course, the Trump administration rather undermined their own logic by also levying reciprocal tariffs on countries with which it ran a trade surplus, such as the UK, right? So the UK has gone about deficits, like deficits were some sort of bad thing that someone did to someone else. It's like, no. It's no. And this is again why it's been so scary for all the stock traders, because when you come across a situation that's just too stupid to be stupid, it's like, how can someone make these decisions? They clearly don't understand what a tariff is. They clearly don't understand what a deficit is. And it sounds really insulting, but this is the case. I watched a video this morning. One of the reasons why I felt compelled to do this video today, guys, is I saw this video this morning. And it was somebody who did an analysis of Trump's behavior before and Trump's behavior now, and it is devastating. It is devastating. Something has happened. Something has happened, and it's extremely concerning. And if you know your shit, if you understand global economics, if you understand geopolitical influences and the way things were before Trump come along, on the status of things and where they'd been left off, and the things that have been put into place that have been made to appear like they're good for people, but when you look under the surface, every single time you realise this is the gnarliest thing I've ever seen and everyone else has ever seen. Something's happened. Something's happened. And I'm not about to say out what I think's going on, but something's going on. Yeah. And I don't feel comfortable saying to people what I think is going on, because it's a combination of maybe 30 or 40 different videos over the last maybe 3 months that have all added up, and the dots have all connected to a particular thing, and it's just not something I'm able to talk about on any channel, and it's unfortunate. But trust me, it's not. When you see the analysis of like the behavior, the neuro-linguistic programming, the body language, the decision making, yeah. Proper foldable sheets. Thank you so very much, Sandy. Day Survival. There you go. There's the link there for the trade war prepping guide. If you're on 4G mobile data or whatever, it is 45 megabyte download size, but it's like full image graphics. It's nice quality on retina screens like iPads and stuff. It looks beautiful on iPad. Do you know, actually, every time I go to talk about something, I realise I can't even get into that. I'm not even allowed to talk about that. YouTube's holding this channel back enough as it is, right? For like 3 years that I've been banging my head against a brick wall. It's... So in terms of what the rest of the market's doing, cryptos is... it's still hovering way above the 100,000 mark now for Bitcoin. So many people have been fleeing to cryptos with what Trump's been doing. You'll see the market cap here, 3.43 trillion, is like properly up there, right? We were down here before. Yeah. And since all this stuff's been going on, most recently, what Trump's been up to and destabilizing things even more, so many people have been fleeing to cryptos. And it's an interesting statement. You need to understand what that really means and what people are actually saying, because every Satoshi, 10 millionth, is it, of a Bitcoin? Is it 10 million Satoshis to a Bitcoin? I'm going to have to look that up now because it's annoying. How many Satoshis in a Bitcoin? 100 million, sorry. Good job I checked. I like accuracy. So there's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. But for every Satoshi that you buy, yeah, is a vote for crypto and a vote against the US dollar or your currency, the country you live in, the euro, the pound. Check out Random Warrior, been an absolute random warrior. Thank you so very much, my man. Respect with a capital K. Thank you so very much. You're such a consistent look. He consistently likes to make sure he stays on the board at least twice at all times. Thank you, Random Warrior. Lich. Couldn't pay my software licenses without you. Oh man, I did actually lose my software licenses for about a week and a half last month, where there wasn't enough money to come out of my account for the license. Oh man. Anyway, thank you guys. I do appreciate you. So every time somebody buys into the crypto market, and this is why I specifically look at not the Bitcoin price, but the overall market cap. The total market capitalization of the crypto industry. So every dollar's worth of crypto held amongst all of the crypto, the stable coins, Bitcoin, the altcoins, and the meme coins and everything in between, right? So this is extra money coming in from outside. This isn't money swishing from the altcoins or the stable coins or stuff to Bitcoin, making the price go up. This is like people are voting against the dollar. They're voting against the euro. They're voting against the pound. Right? More and more people are seeing the cracks in the system. They're seeing how, this economy and our financial system, what it's based on, what it's built on, what it's and where it's got to, is just not sustainable. Everyone knows it. Yeah. Don't forget when 2008 happened, it didn't really happen. It was just band-aided over. They didn't fix anything. It got worse. It's been continuing to inflate since. Yeah. They just got some slightly more advanced band-aids on it at the moment. But there's only a matter of time before they pop off. Just like the last lot popped off in 2008. But they haven't fixed it. None of that money was paid back. None of that money came back again. None of those pensions and things that people lost have reappeared out of nowhere as quickly as they vanished overnight with all that in 2008. There's people that watch me who lost everything in 2008. Yeah, there's loads of people. I mean, I've been prepping since about 2003-ish, since living in Southeast Asia, since you obviously have to be a prepper when you're living on a little island in the middle of nowhere in a tropical jungle, right? But outside of that, 2008 brought a lot of people into the preparedness community. Yeah, so many financial dudes, so many people who lost so much became, first of all, conspiracy theorists, I guess, because they started going, what's going on? How can I just suddenly lose like $1 million pension overnight? How can I just suddenly lose my house? You know, things like this. And believe me, people want to get to the bottom of it. And the more they looked and the more they saw and the more the conspiracies that were there for everyone to see, yeah, there's so many people had conspired to cover up the dodgy nature of these financial packages that they'd been selling as investments, knowing that most of those bundled accounts in there were people that were never going to be able to pay their mortgage, right? So they conspired to deceive people. That is the point of a conspiracy. It happens all the time. And that was what brought a lot of people into this whole movement and the truther movement back in 2008. And believe me, this next one's going to do the same thing. There's going to be a next level awakening. You think that COVID was an awakening for people. You wait till the next crash happens and people start looking in because they've lost everything. They'll have a dog in the race, believe me. They'll be researching, looking into every little detail of what led up to it. And believe me, when people uncover what those who don't already know now was really going on, right? When they uncover that later, yeah, because they don't have the spirit, they don't have the lack of bias, they don't have the motivation, yeah, to look into it like I have to all of the time, right? I don't expect everyone to be like autistic levels of, I just don't expect that. That's why people come to my channel to watch, because I do that so you don't have to. But the point is that when you have these crises happen, right, there was a point where not many people around the world, you know, a few people can think back, but there was a point in time where a few people around the world really knew what a tsunami was. A few people really knew what the effects of a tsunami was. When the waves went out, that was a bad sign that shit was coming back in. People didn't know that back then. We were living in Thailand when that happened, right? The Asian tsunami. We were the other side of the coastline, luckily, but we saw all the people coming over to our side whose hotels have been destroyed. They were just flying them in. They were sleeping on the people's floors in sleeping bags because all the hotels have been wiped out on the seafront from the tsunami, right? I was literally there. My best friend, who's a chief of tourist police, went out there for 2 months on the rebuilding, but it wasn't. It was body collection, and he started standing there on the flying field. We flew model helicopters and model planes together, but we were standing there on the flying field with his phone, and he's just going like this, showing me like these purple inflated like bodies basically floating about in the draining water. And I'm like, I don't want to be seeing this. But believe me, after that event, after that crisis, everyone knows what it means when the sea starts going out randomly. It's like GTFO, right? ABC. So it's the same when the economic crash happened in 2008. And this next generation, right, when they go through what's coming up next, right, believe me, they're going to be looking into where it all happened. And this is where shit's going to really get gnarly for them. And this is why it's going to be difficult for them to pull off any new system, because no one's going to trust anything. Just like, do you think anyone's going to trust anything that they come out with next time there's a pandemic of some kind? Of course not. Of course not. Everything's been debunked since. Every single thing they told us has been debunked since. Just like we were trying to tell everyone. All proven right. So how likely do you think it is that everyone's going to go along with the next one? Probably at least 30% less than what went along with the last one. And if they try it again, there'll be less than 80% like of them will ignore it. This is the problem. It's so far ingrained. It's so deeply... That's some really good advice there, Hachi. Never wipe your bottom with stinging nettles. Absolutely. I've heard oak leaves are quite nice and therapeutic. In fact, aloe vera leaves. Vega with us. Good to see you. There's no good news. It's all controlled. I'll be partying my ass off, looking at us lot believers. World's always been twisted. Who do they care about? They don't care about us, but that's why we're all here, because we understand that. That's why we are the Sigma type personalities who are all about self-improvement, self-development, self-reliance, yeah? Because we know they don't care about us, so the only people we can rely on caring about us is us and our wolf pack we've got here, because we're all similar types of people where we don't need people because we need people, right? When we decide to be part of a wolf pack, it's because we've chosen to be with these people, not because I need anything from you or you need anything from me. There's no transactional relationship there, right? That's what everyone else relies on. If they're an alpha and a beta, it's all about the authority and the following leadership. We're not interested in any of that shit. Any of that shit. When we have friends, it's because we decide to have friends, not because we need them, because we need a friend who's a plumber so we can get free plumbing and shit. This is what most people call their circle of friends. It's like, I've got a mate of mine who's a good plumber. I've got a mate of mine who's good with computers. I've got a mate of mine who's a you know, a carpenter. It's like, this is, I hate to say it, but this is what a lot of people are like. Sigma type personalities just learn the skills to do plumbing themselves. They learn the skills to do carpentry themselves. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you end up being the one that everyone's coming to all the time, asking for you to help them. Yeah. So it makes you valuable in a crisis, because you've got all sorts of bartering options, including your knowledge and skills, right? This is what we're all about. But what we have to concern ourselves with is the effect on everyone else around us, because our environment is the most important thing for us to be making sure we have the most accurate view, right, of all the signals, of all the environmental factors and metrics that come into, is it a secure location or not, right? That includes the political climate. That includes the economic climate, because believe me, when the dollar crashes, this isn't just about a dollar crashing. This is about how gnarly things get when banks are shut down, how gnarly people get when there's no food on the shelves because there's no trading happening, because the banks are shut and there's no transactions happening, right? People get desperate and they do desperate things. That's exactly what my latest video on my channel is all about. Yeah? You have to go and check it out. Let me put it up for you. I'll just jump onto my channel so you can see what Guam. So if you go onto videos, you'll see this, how to survive economic collapse. You see that CBDC there. Let me full screen it for you because I love you. But yeah, so this is going through the entire presentation for you. It's about 45 slides long. And it basically goes through the entire timeline of, you know, the going through an economic collapse, yeah? But in here includes obviously all the things that happen during it as a result of when it hits the fan, right? Where's the bit I'm looking for? So anyway, go and watch that video. It's an hour's worth of presentation. I spent ages making it for you. It tells you everything you need to know about how to prepare for it, what to expect, and I talk about all the pros and cons of every different type of option, stocks, bonds and shares. You've got the pros, the cons, gold, silver, land, property, you name it, I go into it and break it all down for you. So make sure you watch that. It's linked in the description of this video below, I believe, as the featured video. So definitely go and watch that. Because this is a real thing, right? And things get gnarly when things collapse. And this is where it's important for us to know when things are going to collapse. And there's certain indicators that you can see that will tell you when that's most likely and least likely. Like I say, things like the 10-year Treasury bond going up the way it's been doing, the share prices being all over the place, the currency failing against all the other currencies and losing value the way it's been doing, the dollar. The BRICS nations all clubbing together the way they've been doing. The other 74 countries new that have joined the BRICS. I'm pretty sure if you were to cross-reference all of those countries that Trump put those tariffs on in his little board there, are all the countries that are those 74 that are looking to join the BRICS nation. Which would fall in line perfectly with his quote in his tweet, which I put in my trade war prepping guidebook. Again, you can download this from the Trade Wars 101 video. It's in the description. Let me get it to the right page. This is on the intro bit, so it's sort of like the situation report, the sit rep. So is this one here, right? Again, this was where, this wasn't in April where it was going on about the tariffs. This was before that, in November last year. The idea of BRICS countries trying to move away from the dollar, right? And then that's where he threatens 100% tariffs on anyone looking to replace the mighty US dollar, right? So the tariffs were to try and stop people joining the BRICS. So like I say, when he came out with his little board here of all the countries, allies included, for some unknown reason why you would want to do that. But I bet if you were to cross-reference the countries that were on here, they'd all be the same countries that are either part of BRICS, looking to join BRICS, or have applied formally. So now these tariffs have been overturned by the courts in America, because obviously they're not legal and they never were before anyway, let alone they're not part of World Trade Organization rulings either, which is what China was calling out and lots of other countries were calling out at the time. The fact that, how can I say this? The fact that Trump is who Trump is, yeah, it's worrying when somebody like that, let's just say, okay, let me just put it out there. There's a reason why the global sentiment, not what I think, not what Americans think, not what Europeans think, but the global sentiment out there, when you follow people's reactions and comments from different countries, where they have their little flag in their name and stuff, and you get an idea of what people are thinking about stuff. America is being considered the narcissist of the world. Yeah, China is being ironically considered the Sigma country of the world. There's a video that maps it all out. It's extremely interesting, and like the personality type of each country. And it's interesting that China's like the Sigma. They're all about sort of independence, doing shit on their own and not fucking around with anyone else. They're not really interested in anyone else's shit. They just want to do well. Do you know what I mean? And just be left alone. And then you've got other countries that are considered other personality types. There was the Britain was like the jailer psychopath in a relationship, I think was how it was described. But America was considered to be the nut. And I think maybe Trump has added to that global sentiment of these things that have gone viral, talking about country personalities. But yeah, America being the narcissist and stuff, we're great, and everyone else's thing. This was what that video was kind of chanting, like South Park style-y. But the problem is, you see, is when you've got an individual like that, let's just put it this way, because I think a lot of that's come from Trump and how people see Trump, right? And global perception of something is more important than your own, because you need to care more about what other people think about things than you do yourself individually. That's cognitive bias. You need to get out of that shit. Yeah? So you need to make sure that you understand what everyone else thinks, because that's what's going to drive collapse of things. That's what's going to drive de-dollarization. That's what's going to drive the tourism numbers going down. That's what's going to drive people away from building factories in America rather than to it. You see? So it's very, very important to keep your finger on the pulse of what the world is thinking about things. When I see 74 new countries wanting to join BRICS nations, that is a vote against the Western Empire. That is a vote against the US dollar. Just the same as all those people that are investing heavily and probably rightfully so into cryptos and precious metals, which is why they're going up and everything else is going down, is because people would rather flee to something they trust. And clearly they trust cryptos, precious metals, more than they trust the American dollar, backed by, at the moment, Donald Trump, which has been up, down, as we've seen, and now down again. But these types of people don't like being told no. These types of people don't like having their authority challenged. So you damn sure this isn't finished by any means. This is like Lich. It's just going to make him angry. Yeah? That's my worry, is that the backlash from this is going to be quite... Did you see his face when that reporter said about people calling him a chicken? Taco, is it? Is it Taco? His nickname or something? I don't even know what it stands for. I've totally forgotten. Let me look it up. Taco. If we do Trump Taco, we saw what it says. Taco, no. Asked about Taco and tariffs, Trump lashes out at reporter. It's probably that one. Trump always chickens out. Taco. So reporter asked him how he felt about being called Taco. Trump always chickens out. Because this is, I think they worked out like the 7th time he'd gone back on his deal. Oh, I've sent letters out to everyone now because no one will call me. So now he sent letters out to everyone and still no one's calling him. So this is why. And then it's like withdrawing it, and then it's back to 10%, then it's not, then it's 90-day suspension. Do you see, this is like Taco is what the world is talking about. London Evening Standard. What is Taco and why has it angered Donald Trump? It's everywhere, right? Trump always chickens out. Investors cook up Taco. The stock market rise appears to have been aided by the Taco trade narrative. That market turmoil will correct the president's course and allow... Fuck me. It's just embarrassing at this point, which is exactly why that was the thumbnail of this video, because... Thank you, Apocalypse Now. Good to see you, man. I hope you're well. Look at the love in the house. Tanette. Seeing some love for Tanette. Didn't see you slide in the back door, girlfriend, boyfriend, in-between friend. I am jumping in on a run, but as an American, there's nothing not embarrassing about any part of this car for a very long time, let alone Donald, who's a clown. Oh, my absolute darling. Amen. Thank you for joining. Been good to see you. I haven't seen your name pop up for a couple of weeks. Which is just another way of saying I missed you. Hit the like button if you forgot. No, people don't forget. They just purposely don't because they don't think I'm worthy or deserve it. But that's all right. I'm used to it now. I'm used to it, which is why YouTube's the same. This is why YouTube buries all my videos every opportunity. But never mind. I'm not going to complain about it. Instead, I thought I'd just pop on YouTube today and have a little quick catch up with my wolf pack and see what you were thinking about the Trump tariffs being overturned after everything that I've been talking about to do with the tariffs and the trade wars with the economic warfare tactics that I completely broke down in the Warzone Wednesday podcast series. That's done really well. So thank you to everyone for your kind comments on that video, as well as the how to prepare for an economic collapse. So I strongly advise watching that one. I'm pretty sure I linked it in the description below. But what we do need to do quickly is to just, over on the Discord community server for here at Wolfpack, thank you to everyone who's joined the Discord server, but I am going to pop in here results. Results of the poll. Because people who come and watch this video after it's been live won't see the live poll, so I like to post it here for historic purposes. So here we go then. This is how it's ended up. Trump tariffs overturned. How do you feel about it? Right? Your choices were bad news, disappointed, or good news, super pleased. Yay! And 62% of people are super pleased. So I'm super pleased that the majority of people are super pleased. So thank you to those who joined in on the live vote. Don't forget, you can join the Sigma Prepper Discord server anytime you want, free of charge. Links in the description of this video below. Thank you for hitting the like button for those that have. Thank you, Pedigree Mongrel, reminding me and stuff, because it does help the videos get out. Please go and watch the videos I've put on my channel, because I'm telling thee, yeah, spent years, man, spent years. This How to Survive Economic Collapse is 45 slides long, man, and it did it in one take. You heard that right, one take wonder, like all of these are. But don't let that put you off. Go and check it out, right? And you'll, you know, there's so much packed in there. Believe me, there's so many gold nuggets. If you come away from any of them videos and having not learned at least one thing, I will eat the invisible hat I'm wearing right now. Live. I'll eat my invisible hat live. Yeah. So in the meantime, thank you to everyone who's joined in. It's been lovely to see you all here live. Just a quick one to catch up with the tariffs and Trump. Just don't even know what's going on. But anyway, I've been Drew. This has been the Sigma Forever channel. You know how we do. Love, peace and progress.
Reject the herd, prepare the pack. Click the like button, it's as easy as that. Check the description for the links you need. Follow my socials, subscribe to my feed. From a single lone woman to a family of 5. Learn from Sigma Prepper and see how you can thrive. We understand the risks that tomorrow could bring. We adapt and survive, it's a wolf pack thing. Reject the herd, prepare the pack. Click the like button, it's as easy as that. Check the description for the links you need. Follow my socials, subscribe to my feed.